So why are we so different? I hope you caught my intro on this. We're talking about personalities and how they affect relationships. And so now we're in my classroom, and so I can kind of talk with my hands and use the whiteboard here and kind of discuss this personality issue. Yes, and I'm Pastor Andy Ferguson. Thanks for joining me on this series that we're doing as part of Family Matters. And we're just wanting to break down personality types. And again, why are we different? Why do some people do some things one way and other people do something another way? And so in this episode, I want to just introduce you to some very basic concepts around personality types. And so just think about this as Personality Differences 101, all right? And so what we have here is we're gonna kind of use this box as a starting point just to identify differences. And we're gonna divide life and people into different categories, which is what we do. We're different, and so we put people in different boxes. We have, for instance, gender boxes. We have males and females. But with personalities, it doesn't, gender doesn't really come into play. I mean, gender issues do flavor the personalities, but the different personalities can exist within, or any gender can be any type of personality. And so what we want to do is break this down, like I say, in 4 quadrants or 4 personality types. And so again, this is pretty basic. There are really many different personality types. Some people say there's as many as 64, so that would be 16 times 4. So within each one of the quadrants that we're going to find, there might be actually 16 different personality types or variances, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. But so the first thing I want you to do is think of this box, in quadrants, all right? And I want you to think of this box as not just the quadrants, but actually in halves first, okay? So I want you to think of the up and down axis as whether it's task-oriented or people orientation, all right? So we know that some people are more people-oriented and some people are more task people. Some people, I'd like to pick on accountants because they're fun to pick on. But like accountants, they love numbers and details, and they can look at books and be on the computer crunching numbers all day long and that kind of thing. So these are task-oriented people. But it also can be people who just want to be working with their hands. That, just give me something to do. Don't make me go talk to those people. No. Do you know anybody like that? So that would be task people. So 2 of the personality types are more task-oriented. They focus on getting things done. The other 2 personality types are people-oriented personalities, and they want to make sure that people are involved. They want to make sure that the people are okay, etc., etc. All right? So think about yourself. Are you a task-oriented person? Do you prefer to work with things or with people? Do you work with details and papers and numbers? Or do you like the interaction, communication? You like selling something, talking to people, counseling people, and things like that? Those are the questions to ask. So then our next axis that we want to talk about is side to side. And so what we want to do is look at how on this side of things, people are slower in their processing. We're not talking about slow people like there's a problem. It's just that they like to take time to think about things, right? And on this side, we have fast people that want things to move, that like, let's go. And they like things to be different. They like things to be, moving along pretty quickly. And so these 4 things represent some major personality differences and components, right? So are we task-oriented, or are we people-oriented? Or are we want slow, I want time to think, wait a minute, don't rush me. Or are we like, next please? And so these make up the 4 dimensions of that. So anything on this side is fast, anything on this side is slow, anything up here is task and people. So we put task up here now, and people down here. And then we have slow and fast. So then what we want to do is we want to think about, okay, what other major components are there in building a personality? And it boils down to, in this model, it boils down into evaluating 4 different categories of processing, or how we process things. So the first one is problem solving. So how do you approach problem solving? Are you a, let me jump in and I'll figure it out? Or let me do the research and figure it out? Do you like to really think and ponder about things, or you just want to get in there and do it? Okay, so again, you can see how that shows up here in the slow and fast side, where some people, they don't want to take the time to research. They want to learn by doing, and they want to get after it. Other people want to say, no, wait a minute, let's take some time to study it and think this through. We call that reflexive personality versus a more aggressive, let's just go after it personality, okay? The other another major evaluation or component in personality types is, how do we manage information, right? So when we hear about something new, are we excited about it and we're optimistic? Like we think things are, we tend to think of things half full, and like I say, we're optimistic, or are we realistic? Or as the optimist would say, pessimistic, right? So how do we manage information? Some people manage information from a positive perspective, other people from a realistic perspective, and they want to check the facts and so on and so forth. All right. Another major component is, how do we deal with change? Like, do you like a lot of variety in your life? Do you want to see new things all the time, or do you like the same old, same old? You want routine, you want to establish how things, go, and you just want predictability, sameness, because that gives you a sense of security. You kind of have, the way you do things and the way you operate is like the same, so you're not, you're pretty comfortable in that space. Or are you an adventurer and you want to, deal with change? You just love change. You like that. Like, I'm the kind of person who, I like what I do both in business and in pastoring, because it's different nearly every day. I wouldn't not do well in a job where it was the same thing every day. And yet somebody like my wife, with the exception of, maybe some interaction with people, she would like to know that when she went to work, it was pretty much the same. And so again, different personalities types, right? So how do we manage change is the other major component. Finally, another component that we look at is risk. And this might sound similar to change, but no, it's different. It's how much risk are we willing to take in the change, or in the information, or in the problem solving, right? Because you can be risk averse and still be, a good problem solver, but you're not going to take risks. And so you're going to be doing more of the research, which is going to be the slower side of things, more of the task-oriented side of things. You're going to dig in and get that research done, so you're not taking too big of a risk. And other people are going to say, heck with it, let's just do it, right? So, and so you have your true entrepreneurs. So an entrepreneur would be somebody who typically is, loves change, takes on risk. They're thinking of new things all the time. They're managing information. They want things to, happen quickly. They're a good problem solver. It's like, to be an entrepreneur, you kind of have to have an attitude of, I can solve any problem. Yeah, let's just do it. All right, right now, let's just do it. I just need to get some information, like a few things, quick decision making, so on and so forth. Optimistic viewpoint. New things are exciting. New things are good. They don't disrupt the status quo. They are the status quo. They're the new status quo. That's what we're always trying to do, is build towards the new status quo, and it takes risk to get there. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? And so that pioneering approach to life that says, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So of course we're going to do it. No pain, no gain, let's go. That's a entrepreneur who's fast-paced, maybe task-oriented, and that's the basis of a lot of different personalities. If you break these 8 things down into the different quadrants, you're going to come up with different personality types. And that's what we're going to be talking about next. So If you like these videos, you can click here and watch some of the ones in the past. Otherwise, please subscribe and click the bell there, and so that you can get notifications when we do our next video. All right?